All right, so having having gotten the 5x5 at 225 for the most part with front squats, I set my sights on maxing out the front squat today. I wanted to see what I was capable of and just kind of push the limits a little bit and see what I could do. It's kind of a weird lead up to today's workout. I had only gotten like 3 hours of sleep, so a little rough, a little bit tired, but I've dealt with it before, so just going to go through and go and do the workout. Started out with just 10 reps of an open bar. Forgot to record that. Then did 5 reps at 135 and another 5 at 185. All three of those felt super easy. Everything's moving really well. My hips are moving fine. My back isn't sore. Quads aren't tired. So definitely making good strides. Instead of doing my normal warm-ups, how I would normally kind of approach things where I just blast through all the warm-up reps and then give myself a few minutes before I do my rep work, I give myself like a minute and a half of rest between the open bar and the 135. I give myself a minute and a half between the 135 and the 185, and then 2 minutes between that and this 225 double. And the double, it honestly felt heavy, but it moved really quickly, so I wasn't super concerned with how things would go. So I loaded up 165 as my old PR and decided to just kind of go for it. And I was going to see how that looked and decide where to go from there. In my head, I had picked 300 as a landing spot for where I was wanting to aim for. And to be honest, this moved with enough relative ease to where I wanted to just keep going and go ahead and do a 300. So decided to give it a shot, loaded it up. And to be honest, whenever I was walking back with it and walking out with the weight, it didn't feel too heavy on my chest. And took the weight down, went to go up, got stuck, and here I'm sitting in a strong activated position. I'm trying to figure out if I could get onto the spotter arms, if they were too high up, if I could dump the weight forward, but it would land on the front of the squat rack and damage my rack. So I just had to sit there and pause with the weight, asked for my brother to come give me a hand. He pulled me back. I fell back with the weight and got stuck under 300 pounds, which is fine. Give me a second to just kind of relax. And I was trying to push the weight over my legs, but I couldn't get it over my quads, or like get it far enough down to where I could pull my quads through. And so I was a little stuck. Had to have him come over and lift one edge of the barbell up, which was, something, so I could get out. And yeah, that's how that PR attempt went. Probably one of the worst ones I've ever done outside of like the time where I passed out. Because at least when I passed out, I was fine. This I was completely stuck and could not get out from it at all. So decided that was that, and just moved on to doing just a couple of heavy singles on trap bar deadlifts. So went through the usual and started at 135, 5 reps, nice and easy. And the nice thing about at least going for a 1 rep max in the front squats is that my quads weren't completely exhausted like they had been from doing rep work, the 5x5s with the front squats. So I had a lot more energy going through to do the trap bar deadlifts this time, as opposed to the past few weeks where I've just been completely exhausted trying to do them, just because there's just so much work on the quads doing rep work with front squats. 225 moved super easy, went into 315, had no issues here. Just did it for a triple, I believe. So yeah, for a triple. And it moves super easy. 315's a pretty insignificant weight for me now with deadlifting. 405, so 4 plates for another single rep, moved super easy. I was a little concerned about this one, given I had trouble pulling 365 last week before. for a third set of 5, but whatever, it's fine. Moved really quickly. Lit up 475 just to make sure I could still do that raw, and this moved really well as well. So I was super happy with this one, as evidenced by that. A little slow in the get-go, so it's still kind of weak off the floor, but was able to finish out the weight really, really well. And I figured, hey, I'll give it a shot. Shoot for 525. I know I've tried it once or twice before, but we'll just kind of see what happens, because I'm fairly confident that if I can get it off the ground, I can pull the weight. And I got the straps ready, got on, and gave it a pull, but I could not budge the weight, and it's fine. Actually, now looking at it, it was starting to pull just a little bit. And if I had, maybe a little bit more energy or a little bit more power right from the get-go, I probably would have gotten off the ground and I would have been able to finish the rep. I decided to finish things out with 4 sets of 12 with the 40-pound dumbbell press. After doing this, I kind of had a thought that maybe I should do this on my Tuesday and Saturday workouts only and keep Thursday concentrated on doing triceps, at least for the time being. My chest was a little bit sore going through and doing these, but I decided to just kind of power through. So I'm curious how I'll feel on Saturday. And then maybe do, 2 chest workouts every week for a month or so to get used to that sort of volume, to where I could potentially add in a third day. It's because I kind of decided to do that on a whim, and chest is one of those things to where you really need to build up resilience to training it more than once or even twice a week at times, because it is one that takes a lot of time to recover, and you got to be really careful kind of playing with that intensity over multiple workouts in a week. So that's something I need to really kind of think over. I might do a tricep workout instead of doing chest on Saturday, and just kind of give my chest a few days to rest, then resume again on Tuesday, and then follow the Tuesday-Saturday pattern going forward with them until I get pretty comfortable with it. But I was able to finish all 4 sets this time, and I think it was a consequence of me having a bit more energy and not being as exhausted from trying to do a 5x5 of front squats. It felt nice to actually do it. I know I have the strength to do it because I've done them before heavier, and I just haven't had the remaining energy in the workout to actually get the reps out and do it. But at the same time, I think my focus on going through and doing them was just more of a just finish it, and just kind of power yourself through. Don't allow yourself to slow down, and just do the reps, because if you slow down, that means you're going to be spending more energy per rep because you're having more time stabilizing, pushing, holding, and doing all this other stuff that's going to make it just more difficult in the long run. So like looking at this last set in particular, I do pretty much exactly that. As I laid down, I immediately got into position on my back and just pumped out the first rep right when I got comfortable. So held, got things ready, and then carried on with the rest of the set. So went through them pretty quick. And I remember feeling really, really nice as I was doing the set too. Just anything, completely different from the previous sessions where I just had only been able to do 7, 8, 9 reps on that last set. And I was able to just kind of power through. And all the reps look clean. There's nothing that looks like it's being forced or I'm having to do any sort of accommodation for. So looking forward to kind of slowly building up a rapport weekly with chest workouts, but for now I'm just going to stick to doing dumbbell presses and doing them, twice and eventually 3 times a week, adding in other things at some point like flies or, some shoulder work and some tricep work to build up everything involved in that complex of doing bench press, and then adding in the periodic bench workout. I don't want to do it as intensely as it was the 5x5 because that tends to put a lot of strain on my shoulder, and I'm still somewhat nervous about re-injury on my my right shoulder. Not at all in the mood to tear my shoulder again and have to deal with that rehabilitation process. Just because that was another 3 months that it took me out, that I had to really kind of relearn how to do everything, and I lost so much strength in that time period where I just wasn't able to really do much training at all. But overall, a fairly productive workout. A couple things didn't go my way, but you really can't afford to focus on those as a complete negative of the process. It's just something that happens, and you just gotta keep moving forward and improving.